Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth, and I am here with my November wrap up. Today is Saturday, November the 30th, 2024. It is the last day. Well, I guess tomorrow is the last day, but it's the last day of Thanksgiving break here. If you enjoy Thanksgiving, celebrate Thanksgiving, whatever, I hope that you had an amazing one. If you don't, then I hope the last week was great anyway. Um, I read, I think it's 14 books. For some reason, Goodreads did not put down like dates read, dates finished for a bunch of these books. And I know that I have read more than that, but a lot of it was articles um, and things of that nature. And then a whole bunch of picture books, which I don't typically put because I'm reading them with my class. If I was putting down all the picture books I'd read with my class in the last few months, most definitely would have already gotten way over my goal for the year, but we'll talk about that later. I cannot remember if Love Lies and Hocus Pocus, The Beginnings by Lydia Scherer. I can't remember if I finished that right at the end of October or if it rolled over to the first couple of days of November. What I do know is I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The writing is not just absolutely stellar, but I enjoyed the story. I read it as an audiobook on whatever Scribd is now and enjoyed it, and we'll be moving on to the next book. It's just a fun time. It's the main character is Lily Singer, and she is mid to late 20s, maybe 28, 29, something like that. She's a librarian and a wizard, and her mentor wizard has retired, so she's like in charge of this secret library, which I think will probably come more into play later on. But Sebastian is one of her best friends, and she is um, so Lily manages the archives, is a wizard, all of these things. She didn't know she was a wizard until she got to college, so she's still working on that. And then Sebastian is a witch. He is from a wizarding family, so his aunt is Lily's mentor, but he didn't really have like wizard abilities and became a witch, and it's a whole issue. Lily is very straight laced and by the book, and Sebastian is not. But they're a lot of fun. They played off each other well. And like I said, I am going to go ahead and pick up book 2 at some point. Next, I read Orientalism by Edward W. Said. I'm not sure. That was for my world literature course. And basically, Said traces the origins of the term Orientalism. I gotta put my fingers up here. Orientalism, and the other, which is basically Europeans. There was a big run on like everything that was Asian, everything that was Oriental, and like this big deal there. Europe dominated the Middle and the Near East and defined the Orient, and so all things were Oriental, and they are the other than. So uh, now we know that the other is basically everything that's not the us. But kind of the first big push of the other was Orientalism. Next, I completed the Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. So, Orientalism, I gave 3 out of 5 stars, by the way. It was interesting information. I knew a lot of it I wasn't really aware of, but it was read for world literature, not something I just randomly picked up on my own, although knowing me, I might have. Anyway, next I read the Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. This is the first book in the Bromance Book Club series. While I would like to pick up the rest of the books at some point, again, this is not something I typically read, so it was fun, but I want to pick it up, but I don't have a burning desire to pick up the next one. But while I was reading it, I was reading a chapter or two a night, and it was pulling me through the story really well. I liked her writing style. I bought the book a few months after it came out because so many people on BookTube were talking about it. So basically, this is about Gavin Scott. He is a baseball player. He and his wife are having problems. He moves out, and a bunch of his friends, and maybe some that are not friends, come together and are like, hey, we can help you. And it turns out they have a book club where the guys read romance novels and try to learn lessons on how to keep your woman happy. And it was adorable. So, yeah. Next, I read Blood Brothers by Nora Roberts. That was for Nora November, which is something Storm does over on Storm Reads. Storm is a good friend of mine. And I always try to participate in whatever she is putting out there. And so Blood Brothers is the first in the Sign of Seven trilogy. There's only the one trilogy. And it follows Caleb, Gage, and Fox, who are best friends who were born on the same day in the same year within seconds of each other, basically. Their moms were all friends, and so these boys just grew up with everyone's parents being everyone else's parents and whatever. When they were 10, they snuck out the night before their birthday to go to a clearing where this big stone rises out of the ground. It's called the Pagan Stone. And they swear a blood brother's oath to each other and basically unleash a demon. And now every 7 years, the town that they live in, Hawkins Hollow, goes through hell. And this is the fourth seven. They're about to turn 10, 17, 24, 31. They're about to turn 31. And things are happening. And women show up that kind of complete the circle. So it's a romance and a suspense, and it's a good time. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Melody and I listened to Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne, illustrations by Ernest Shepard, of course, the OG illustrator. We listened to it on Audible. I have a few different versions of Winnie the Pooh, and Winnie the Pooh is the Classic Children's Literature Book Club book pick to finish out the remainder of the year. So November, December, just read something Winnie the Pooh if you want to join in. And then we are going to look and find kind of more modern classic children's books to read. Some of them might be definitely more for children. Some of them might be middle grade. Some of them might even be more YA at this point. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, I'll make another video separate on this to remind everyone. But if you have any suggestions for those, leave them in the comment box down below for me. Next, I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. We love us some Winnie the Pooh around here. Living Beyond Borders, stories, it's a long title, stories about growing up Mexican in America. This is for my reality and children's lit course. And this is short stories, poems, songs, and a couple of comics and essays. It was edited by Margarita Longoria, Francisco X. Stork, Guadalupe Garcia McCall, and there's a whole bunch of other authors. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I'm really glad we read it. Parts of it are middle grade, parts of it are more kind of young adult, but it's all about the different types of Mexican and growing up as those different types of Mexican in different parts of America. And I really enjoyed it. Some of it was hard, but all in all, a very good read. Next, I read The Hollow by Nora Roberts. This is book 2 in the Sign of Seven trilogy, and I will not tell you any more about it, other than I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Melody and I read Peppa and the Christmas Elf by Scholastic Publishing. This is a Peppa the Pig story. She loved it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I finished out the Sign of Seven trilogy by reading The Pagan's Stone, also by Nora Roberts. Gave it 4 out of 5 stars. We read Pete the Cat the First Thanksgiving by Kimberly and James Dean. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Love us some Pete the Cat. A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This is one of the stories that I am comparing for my essay on Lo Real Marveloso, or the Marvelous Real. It's one of the things that were a catalyst for my my video last week about Marvelous Real versus magical realism, in which I discovered that apparently Americans are the problem because everybody else just bundles them together. But Americans have made magical realism so different from everybody else that we had to separate out and have the Latin American Marvelous Real be a whole different thing because Americans are the problem. Anyway, I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a very interesting story. It is a short story. And then the last 3 books were The Best Texas Cookbook, which is 100 favorite Lone Star recipes. The Southern Dessert Cookbook, which is just 514 or something old-fashioned classic Southern desserts. And then Sweet on Texas, the Lovable Confections from the Lone Star State. All 3 of those got 4 out of 5 stars, and those were the last 3 books that I have completed for November. Now, we might have one more book completed before the end of the day. Elena and I are reading together Gordon Corman's book, Faker. We are listening to that on audio, and tonight we are going to have dinner with my parents and have the girls take their annual pictures with Santa Claus. And then Melody called and asked her papa if she could just stay with him. And Papa was like, yeah, cool. We'll make your house, because kindergarten, we have asked the kids to make houses for like a little Christmas village we're going to display. And I was going to make it with her. And she was like, no, me and Papa are going to build it. We build things together, Mom. Thanks. So her and Papa are going to build a house. And Elena and I are going to come home and watch movies and chill without the tiny child. And we are going to, you can't see that at all. But anyway, we are going to try to finish up listening to the audio of Faker on the way home after we leave the little one with Papa. I am also still reading A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. It is a reread for me, and I've read the first chapter, like the prologue in the first chapter. I have the physical copy. I have the audiobook. This week, I have just not been reading before bed. I've been crocheting and watching TV, or just so tired from staying up and hanging out with my kids that I'm not in the space to read that book. But I really want to read it, so I didn't pick anything else up, which is detrimental to my reading score, but that's fine. As of right now, I have completed 146 out of 150 books. Like I said earlier, if I had put in all of the picture books that I read with my class, because we read somewhere between 7 and 10 a week just to go along with our themes, with our stories, you know, all the things, our stories, our lessons. Plus, I read them just a for funsies book that has nothing to do with whatever else we're doing. If I had put all of those in, I'd probably be over 200 at this point. Because that's at least 3 days a week where we're reading 2 or 3 picture books. 5 days a week. If it's a normal week, we have 5 days a week with 3 books, you know. So that adds up quickly. I don't often put those in unless it's something I would have picked up on my own. Like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I think I had put one of those in when we did the 3 Pigs. I definitely put in the true story of the 3 little pigs as told by the wolf. I definitely put that one in because those are ones I've read on my own for other things as well. But anyway, I don't particularly have a TBR for December other than I'm going to pick up some books. Fiona and I think, are about to buddy read the next book in the Discovery of Witches series, but I'm not 100% sure when we're going to start that. And I mean, that's all. This has been a long video anyway, and I didn't bring any books to show you because I was like, no, that'll make it longer. But I just rambled on anyway. So there you go. Those are the books I finished in November. If you've read any of them, want to read any of them, want to know more about anything I'm doing, come chat to me in the comment section down below. Heck, just come and say hi. I am more than happy to have a conversation. I will talk to you again soon. Until next time, stay safe out there, guys. Bye.